Good evening and welcome to Dad's Gone Bad Gaming. Tonight I'm going to be talking about the Razorleaf in Starfield and how you can upgrade this thing very significantly well before level 20 and turn it into a ship like this. Again, all A class. First thing you need to do is join up with the Vanguard in New Atlantis and join up and do the first mission that's available, which I do believe is grunt work. And it's a really fun mission, but I'm not going to spoil it for you. But you need to do that, and when you complete the initiation mission grunt work, then you become accepted into the Vanguard, and for a reward you gain access to the Vanguard Obliterator AutoProjector. That's the gun you want, and you want to put that weapon system on your ship. Whatever ship you have, you want that. I'm putting it on the Razorleaf, so I'm going to go ahead and show you this. The Vanguard Obliterator AutoProjector cannons, you can put up to 6 of them on your ship, and they are absolutely fantastic. They do incredible damage. They have a 3,000 range. They do 11 hull damage and 11 shield damage, and they're low power. They only take up 2 at max power. So I'm going to go ahead and put as many as I can on right now, which I do believe is going to be 4, because I don't think I have enough money for more in this particular moment. Do that. Now again, when you're first getting started with using the ship editor, it is a little bit wonky until you really get a handle on it. So you have to remember that you can tab up and down as well as spin around, and just, you have a whole host of controls to be able to move around. So don't just be limited to the joysticks to be able to fine tune this. Like here I had to tap down on the D-pad just to sort of really wrestle that one in. Okay, so there we go. So I've got 4 of them. But then you have to do the flight check, and when you do that, especially when you're adding a new weapon system or you have a slot where there isn't a weapon, you have to assign it. So you can see on there the weapon 1 is unassigned, and so you can see the Vanguard Vanguard Obliterator AutoProjector. I just go ahead and tap on that, and it'll assign it to the slot. So now it's fireable, and there's no longer an error for that. The last error is that I had another piece still on the board, so I have to get rid of that. And now everything's nominal, so I can go ahead and buy those pieces and get out of there and watch my starship design progress go up. Excellent. Also, I want to mention that I'm going to get rid of those struts and those engines. That's the next thing I'm going to upgrade on the ship for this video. But I still need to sell a ship so that I can get some more money here. And I'm only going to need to sell probably just this ship, the Varun Him, which I got during my video for how to commandeer spaceships. And that's, yeah, look at that, 16,591 credits, which should be just enough to put the final 2 Vanguard Obliterator AutoProjectors onto my ship. Not that ship. Maybe something else with that ship. That ship. Alright, so let's go ahead and put those last 2 guns on. I'm going to put them right on the top mounts on the front landing gear. And I think I'll probably try to keep these guns for as long as they're viable. And I have a pretty good idea that they're going to be viable for a while. But as soon as I put these guys on here and save this, I'm going to go ahead and take this thing out for a test run. But before I do that, I definitely want to get the engine straightened out. And I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to go ahead back to my outpost because the landing pad with the ship terminal there is much more efficient at having a broader range of parts available. So this is what the ship's going to end up looking like, and I did put in a 3x1 section right here. This is what it looks like, and this is a Deimos all-in-one, a 3x1 berth. So I'm just going to try to extend the ship out and then mount the engines off the back of this thing here. And what I'm also going to do is use this mount, the Nova Wing port, which I really dig this thing because check it out. Wow, one of those 4 has to be where it connects to the ship, but the rest of it, you can connect engines and guns to it. And so I'm going to choose these engines because these are A-class, but they're about as good as you can get for A-class. And they're flat, so they stack, which is very cool. So I can put 2 of them on that. And then take the 2 Vanguard Obliterator auto cannons for that wing and put them on it, like so. Snap right in, and then if you go ahead and select the 3 basic parts there, you can move them as one unit or module and see how they snap right onto one of the fuselage modules or the habitat modules, and that's how I extended out the Razorleaf. Now by finishing the install of 4 of the White Dwarf 3000 engines, they're still A-class and they only take up to 3 power, so I can have 4 of them, and each one has 15,000 plus thrust, so together that's 60,000. That should be enough for the ship all the way up through endgame. But I may upgrade these to the better White Dwarf 3010s or 3015s that become available at a much higher level. But for now, these things are fantastic for the ship. So I'm really excited. I just want to make sure to paint this thing up. I want to decide on my engine color here. But overall, this is how it turned out. And then I ran into one snag doing the flight check. It's like, oh goodness, I need more landing gear. Alright, so I'm going to have to disassemble the ship and maybe even add in another structural module so that I can get those storage pieces up on the top there. But let's take care of the landing gear first. Yeah, so let's add in this Deimos Hull A. You see how it's got snap points all the way around it? I want that so I can put the cargo pods up to it and connect onto it. Because this ship really does not have any cargo, or not a lot. But when I get these on there, I'm going to have over 2,000 storage, which is okay. Enough certainly that I should be able to do what I need to do. And again, just doing some sort of fine tuning on the coloration of the ship, because I want this sort of black with just a little hint of yellow on the highlights. It's all stylistic, so you don't have to do that yourself. But for now, again, that 6-pack of the Vanguard Obliterator autocannons. I really want to show you just how really devastating they are. So let's dial up a pirate mission here. I know this isn't going to be super high level, but you gotta check this out. It's just like Swiss cheese. So I'm gonna let him hit me a little bit just so I can really just sort of free target in. See how fast it just ripped through him. That 6-pack just gobbled him right up. It's not even an overwhelmingly huge power drain on my systems. However, I am a bounty hunter, and it's always important to me that on the last ship, in one of these fights, I just beat it down as far as I can, and then I hit it with the EM guns to immobilize it, board it, and take all the stuff that I can. So that's just my personal strategy. That way I can get more money for it. And remember that when you have stolen and illegal goods, you have to go to Wolf, to the sector Wolf, and then to the den, the station there, where you can sell illegal stuff and you don't get scanned, so you don't have to worry about that headache. But anyway, here I'm using the electromagnetic gun to neutralize each system. Going from like left to right, you start with the shields obviously, then take out the engines and the weapons. Then you can go ahead and dock with the ship, that is.
Green lights on outer hatch. We're docked.
I find that just simply blowing up the ships is the least profit efficient thing to do. And that's why I do board the ships, at least the last ship in the fight, and take out the crew. And the reason for that is that I can double, triple, even sometimes quadruple, depending on what it randomly drops for me, the amount of money that I make. Sometimes you also will be able to pick up illegal goods, which you have to sell at the den in the Wolf system. You just got to keep iterating that, because if not, you're going to go get scanned at, say, at Alpha Centauri or something like that, and they're going to throw you in jail and take your stuff. So you don't want to do that. Anyway, as you can see here, the chances of captains dropping epic items is very good, sometimes legendary, so it's well worth it, because the amount of stuff that you can potentially get off of a ship between the cargo hold at the captain's locker and the crew, and just picking stuff up in the illegal goods, it can really rack up. You can make easily like 10,000 credits off of a ship if it's a good ship or a bigger ship. So I find it to be well worth it, and the benefit of that also is that at the end, you leave the ship, you undock, and then you open fire on it, and you still get the XP for the kill as well. So that's just my personal style of bounty hunting, and I really wanted to set the Razorleaf up so that it would be very, very combat effective early on to get me through to, say, level 20, 25, where I can start putting on much more effective modules, a better power system, more guns. I want to start checking out the auto turrets at some point, but I'm going to have to do a whole bunch of bounty missions first so that I can rack up enough money to be able to start doing the upgrades and get the levels under me so that I can start getting into C-class ships. By level 25, you should have access to all the modules to be able to make the Razorleaf into this bad boy, this murder machine. In my next video, I'm going to take this thing apart and show you exactly all the pieces on it and what I did to make it. And there's a reason, because also when you get up to level 25, certain battles you're going to get overwhelmed with fleets attacking you, and that's just a little bit too difficult if you're only doing triggerable front firing weapons. So I needed to add a little bit more to it, and this is a ship that eventually the Razorleaf will become. So go ahead and install these on your ship and check it out. They are absolutely fantastic, low level A-class weapons. They don't take a lot of power, they do a lot of damage, great range. You're gonna love it. Anyway, and stay tuned for my next video when I take this thing apart. Anyway, I hope you all have a great night, and fly safe, folks.